Hello, friends. This is our fourth and final video in our little series about our upcoming retreat in February. It's called Ancestral Alchemy, and it runs from the 20th to the 25th of February next year, 2023. Okay, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the practicalities of the retreat. So, for starters, the retreat is at Enchanted Manor, which is on the Isle of Wight. Now, the best way of getting there is to fly in, if you're not in the UK already, but I'm assuming you're coming from the outside, flying into either Gatwick or Heathrow. So if you fly into Heathrow, it takes you about an hour and a half transfer to get to the ferry to go over to the Isle of Wight. And if you're coming in from Gatwick, that takes about an hour. So once you get to the ferry, and when you sign up, we will assist you with all of this and tell you exactly how to do it. But when you get to either Portsmouth or Southampton, or Lymington, depending on where you're coming from, then you take a ferry over, and Enchanted Manor is right at the bottom of the Isle of Wight. So if you can just imagine a diamond-shaped island at the base of the UK. Now, what's fascinating to me, so of that diamond-shaped, we are right down on the southernmost tip. What fascinates me is that we're a couple of minutes away from the St. Catherine's Lighthouse, and this lighthouse is literally on the southernmost tip. And the Bellinus line, which is also known as the Dragon Line, literally emerges at the St. Catherine's Lighthouse. It runs all the way up the Isle of Wight and then all the way up the UK. So it's almost as if that diamond-shaped island is the coccyx, and then you've got the spine running up the UK. So the Isle of Wight in and of itself is a very special island. It's well known as the Dragon Island. There are amazing myths and legends about the island itself. It also was the last Celtic stronghold in the UK. So there is a very, still to this day, strong understanding of the natural flows and rhythms. All the people that live on the Isle of Wight celebrate the incredible natural beauty of the island. It is, even though it's part of the UK, it's as if it's how the UK used to be 15, 20 years ago. Everything moves a little bit slower, but you have everything there. Many parts of the island don't have cell phone reception, but it's never that long, it's not too far to go to get to find cell phone reception. Now at Enchanted Manor, we don't have cell phone reception because we're right under the mountain. But we have full Wi-Fi, and the majority of our guests love the fact that there is no cell phone reception there. Now, actually, in the driveway, you can get cell phone reception, but in the building itself, you can't. Now, the manor itself is 184 years old. She is a very magical home. Having lived there for 2 years now, I've noticed how she shifts and changes depending on the guests that are in-house. There've been times where all of a sudden the pipes will make a noise, and only for the time that one particular guest is there, or a couple, or what have you. And then we never hear those pipes again. So she's a very magical, mystical home, and then being located in the very quiet part of the island, very, very mystical and magical. Now, the Ventnor coastline, which is the coastline that runs down that southern part, is well known, has been well known for centuries as a very healing part of the island. There was actually a hospital in Ventnor. We're part of Ventnor. We're just in a little suburb of Ventnor. But there was this hospital in the Second World War where soldiers that had been gassed in foxholes or had any kind of breathing issue would be sent to that hospital. So it's a very, very healing. It's got a microclimate. This part, well, the island is always at least 5 degrees warmer than the rest of the mainland, and gets the most hours of sunshine in a year in the UK. So we have plants on our side of the island. We have plants that grow in South Africa and can't grow anywhere else in the UK. So it really is a very diverse, special area. Now, at St. Catherine's Lighthouse, there are open fields that have been untouched and untampered with for centuries. Most of it now is National Trust and highly protected, so you can't even cut down a tree, which is wonderful. And there are still many wild animals that live there. So very regularly we will have red squirrels in the garden. We have wild badgers coming in at night for a snack en route. Down at the lighthouse, we often see foxes and hares and owls and various other birds, sea eagles, lots of seagulls, but other eagles as well, and many birds of prey. So there's always something going on. And when you are really communing with Gaia, particularly in this area, you've got nothing but sea in front of you and nothing but nature behind you. Outside a farmhouse and the lighthouse, there are no buildings. So it's very, very natural. It's like stepping into the original organic natural divine matrix, and being in that space, it is so much easier to access the liminal realms. And having been there for 2 years now, I can tell you that the unicorn and the dragon energy are very, very strong there. There's certain areas that I have found that I can tap into those energies. They literally present themselves. We've more recently, mermaid energy has been showing up, although we won't be really going into that on the retreat. But certainly the dragon and the unicorn energy is very strong there and very palpable. So, everyone gets to have their own experience with that. Okay, so if you come in via Heathrow, you will actually be driving past Stonehenge. If any of you want to extend off the retreat and spend a bit of time at Stonehenge or Avebury or in Glastonbury, of course you're welcome to do that, and we can help you with that. But if you're coming in from Heathrow, you're going down the highway for an hour and a half and you actually drive straight past Stonehenge. When you get to the ferry, which is either Portsmouth, Leamington, or Southampton, you're going to take a ferry over to the island. Now, if you're coming in your own car, you'll take the car ferry. It takes about 45 minutes. Alternatively, if you're coming without transport, which is no problem, you can take, there are 2 ferries, one from Portsmouth to Ryde and the other one from Southampton to Cowes. And that can take around 20 minutes. Well, they're 2, but basically call it 20 minutes to actually get to the ferry. And then we can arrange transport for you to get to the manor itself. Now, the island is relatively small. You can pretty much drive anywhere in about 35 minutes. That's going to be your maximum. But when you're on the island, it does feel very big. And as I say, really beautiful, beautiful scenery, natural scenery. Now, the one sacred site that we will be visiting outside the St. Catherine's Lighthouse is the dragon tree. Now, this dragon tree is, there's actually a legend about it being the last dragon on the island. And They age it at about 400 years, although we recently had a botanist staying with us, and they went to the dragon tree and said, looking at the age of the tree itself, it's more like 600 years old. So either way, it's very, very old and very, very sacred. So a beautiful place for ceremony and to commune with Gaia. Right. So over to you, Sandra.
Yes, I am so excited because it's so magical. And because we are really going to be doing lots of rituals and ceremonies, we will be going to some of these sacred sites for some of these rituals and ceremonies because of the energetics and the thinning of the veils. And we will also be doing some activations as well while we're there, depending on the site that we're in. And this beautiful journey, these ceremonies will always begin. We'll have an open ceremony that we will begin with, so that we open the portal on Enchanted Manor, and we will come into a beautiful circle, and it's very sacred. And you'll learn more about that once you say yes to the retreat. And then we will then begin having, every day there will be something different, because there is specific things that we will be needing to go to, and it begins with you, right? And I always say everything begins and ends with you. And so the first ceremony will begin with self, honoring self, loving self, thanking self, forgiving self. Anything and everything that will need to come through will show up for you. The next day we will be connecting with your mother's spirit, all of those stories, any attachments, any cords, anything that needs to come up. Our third day, we will be connecting with our ancestors, the matriarchal line, 7 generations. And it is such a beautiful gift to be able to connect with these women from our 7 generation. It is powerful. It is so much knowledge and wisdom to receive. And then on the last day, not the last day, but the second to last day, there will be this recommitment to self. We are recommitting to ourself, a remarriage to self, an honoring of self. What are we going to do? How do we love ourselves? How will we really embrace this new me, this new person? And how am I going to commit to her? What is that, right? So it's a remarriage of a commitment to yourself. And I invite you, and you'll receive more information about that, because we'll be consecrating a specific item that will support you once you leave this magical place in this island, to go take with you as a remembrance, as a recommitment, that every time, and connect to the energetics of the island as well, to remember who you are, who you were, and who you are becoming. And so I am really excited for all the beautiful souls to come and circle with us on this gorgeous island, with all of these beautiful benevolent beings who will be supporting us. And we'll get to connect with them, and we'll get to talk to them, and we'll see all of the beautiful divine signs throughout the entire process, from the moment that you say yes to the retreat to the day we hug each other and say until next time. There will be just pure magic and divine signs wherever we go on the planet. And so I'm excited for all of us to come together in this beautiful circle. Peta.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so if you feel the call, if you have any questions, please reach out to either one of us. And if you are ready to fill in your application form, then just follow the link and apply. And yeah, any questions, let us know. We're only too happy to to set up a call and discuss any questions or concerns or ideas that you might have. So thank you so much, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Yes, exciting.